Hello everybody, it's Brenda. I am here today with another chapter of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. So remember, don't sweat the small stuff. Number 2, and it's all small stuff. So here we go. Let others have the glory. There's something magical that happens to the human spirit, a sense of calm that comes over you when you cease the need for all the attention directed toward yourself. Instead, you allow others the glory. Our need for excessive attention, that is ego-centered part, that's the ego-centered part of us that says, look at me, I'm special, my story is more interesting than yours. It's not the voice inside of us that may not come right out and say it, but that wants to believe that my accomplishments are slightly more important than yours. The ego part of us that wants to be seen, heard, respected, considered special, often at the expense of someone else. It's the part of us that interrupts someone else's story or immediately waits his turn to speak so that he can bring the conversation and attention back to himself. To varying degrees, most of us encourage this in our habits. Much of our own determinant. When you immediately drive in and bring the conversation back to yourself. Sorry. You can strubly minimize the joy of that person has in sharing and doing. Create distance between yourself and others, and everyone loses. The next time someone else tells you a story or shares an accomplishment with you, notice your tendency to say something about yourself in response. I know a lot of people like that. Although it's a difficult habit to break, it's not only enjoyable but actually peaceful to have that quiet confidence to be able to surrender your need for attention and instead share in the joy of someone else's glory, rather than jumping right in and saying, once I did the same thing, or guess what I did today. Bite your tongue and notice what happens. Just say, that's wonderful, or please tell me more, and leave it at that. The person you are speaking to will have so much more fun, and because you are so much more present, because you are listening so carefully, he or she won't feel in competition with you. The result of that person will feel more relaxed around you and making him or her more confident as well as more interesting. You too will feel more relaxed because you won't be on edge of your seat waiting for your turn. Obviously, there are many times when it's absolutely apparent to exchange experiences back and forth and to share in the glory and attention rather than just giving it all away. I'm referring here to the compulsive need to grab it from others. Ironically, when you surrender, you need to hog all the glory. The attention is used to need from other people to be replaced by quiet inner confidence that is diverted from letting others have it. Okay. Learn to live in the present moment. To a large degree, a measure of your peace and of mind is determined on how much we are able to live in the present moment. Inner perspective of what happened yesterday or last year and what may or may not happen tomorrow. The present of the moment is where you want to be always. Without question, many of us have mastered the the numerotic of speeding much of our lives worrying about a variety of things all at once. We allow past problems and future concerns to dominate the present moments, so much so that we end up anxious, frustrated, depressed, and hopeless. On the flip side, we also postpone our gratification, our stated priorities, and our happiness, often convincing ourselves that someday will be better than today. Unfortunately, the same mental dynamics that tell you to look forward to the future will only repeat themselves so that somebody near and actually arrives. John Lennon once said, "Life is what's happening while you are busy making other plans." When you're busy making other plans, our children are, excuse me, are busy growing up, and the people we love are moving away and dying. Our bodies are getting out of shape, and our dreams are slipping away. In short, we miss all life. Many people live as life were a dress rehearsal for some more later date. It isn't. In fact, no one has a guarantee that he or she will be here tomorrow. Now is the only time you have, excuse me. Now is the only time we have, and the only time that we have to control over. When our attention is in the present moment, we push fear from our minds. Fear is concern over events that might happen in the future. We won't have enough money, our children will get into trouble, and we will get old and die. Whatever the to combat the fear, the best strategy is to learn to bring your attention back to the present. Mark Twain said, "I have been through some terrible things in my life, some of which actually happened. I don't think I can say it any better. Practice keeping your attention on here and now. Your effects will pay you great dividends." Imagine that everyone is enlightened except you. This strategy gives you a chance to practice something that is probably completely incompatible with you. However, if you give it a try, you might find that it's one of the most helpful exercises in self-improvement. As the title suggests, the idea is to imagine that everyone you know and everyone you meet is perfectly enlightened. That is except you. The people you meet are all here to teach you something. Perhaps the obnoxious driver or the disrespectful teenager is here to teach you about patience. The punk rocker might be here to teach you about being less judgmental. Your job is to try to determine what the people in your life are trying to teach you. You'll find that if you do this, you'll be far less annoyed, bothered, and frustrated by the actions and imperfections of other people. You can actually get yourself into the habit of approaching life in this manner, and if you do, you'll be glad you did. Often, once you discover what someone is teaching you, it's easy to let go of your frustration. For example, suppose you're in the post office and the postal clerk appears to be intentionally moving slowly rather than feeling frustrated. Ask yourself this question: what is he trying to reach? What is he trying to reach me? Maybe, teach me. Maybe you need to learn about compassion. How hard it would be to have a job you like or you don't like, or perhaps you could learn a little more about being patient, standing in line and an excellent opportunity to break your habit of feeling impatient. You may be surprised how fun and easy this is. All you're really doing is changing your perspective, your perspective from why they do this. What are they trying to teach me? Take a look around today. All that has enlightened you.